Hey everyone, welcome to the Withering Effect episode 177. Today's date is January 14th, 2024, and I am Duds or Duds Versus, known to the rest of the interwebs.
And I'm Carl, you may know me as Carl Rides. So what have you been up to recently, Duds, after our quite long break between this and the last episode recording?
Coughing.
Yep. Standard Duds.
You know, the same thing I was doing before we took our break. I've done a couple things. I did some single player. I don't want to call it burnout, but I've definitely been suffering some creative drought. And it was pretty rough. I didn't want to make videos. I didn't want to build anything. So the way Minecraft works for me is I have to be inspired. I have to be able to visualize something in my head before I can start building. And that's really good and all. That's what allows me to be able to build in survival mode instead of like a lot of people are building in creative mode and they bring it over to survival mode.
Yeah.
I'm not that kind of player. I'm very much a survival player. If I do it that way, I kind of feel like I'm building it twice, and that just annoys me.
Yeah.
The ability to envision how I want it to end up before I even start usually helps, except for when it doesn't. When you can't envision anything, you can't build anything.
This is true.
I went through a lot of that, especially right around Christmas time. The Christmas episode, a lot of that is because of Liv and Aerington. They really helped out on that. If they hadn't stepped up and Lucy hadn't come up with such a great poem, my build would have been pretty bad, just putting it lightly. So yeah, I did that. I played some single player, a lot of just kind of like caring for the homestead and making sure the farms are working correctly, planting stuff and all that. But doing stuff like that helps. Just placing blocks, even if it's kind of meaningless, helps me.
Yeah, it helps you get back into the vibe, doesn't it? You know.
Right. Yeah, I didn't have any real inspiration, but it got me wanting to play the game. I didn't dread starting Minecraft anymore. So I went into my creative world and like was looking at some designs. Sometimes it can be just the way I've built a pillar, and that alone's enough for me to design an entire base around. I didn't have anything hitting me except for Ripple Season 4, my starter house. Do you remember it?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I loved that house.
It was a good one.
Yeah, it felt like a home, which is something I don't get in a lot of my bases. Like, I build bases that I'm very happy with, but not all of them feel like a home.
Yeah, they're more sort of industrial. Like, this is the same for any, like, massive base. It's more of sort of an industrial complex that's got, like, a bedroom somewhere within it.
Right.
It doesn't fit. It's not like it's got like a living room and a kitchen and a bathroom and a bedroom. It's like it's got farms and storage and stuff. It's more like a business premises than an actual house most of the time.
My Ripple Season 2 felt like a home to me, even though it was very industrial.
Yeah.
Ripple Season 3 was just, it was just out there with how I built things. And then Ripple Season 4, that house felt like a home. And I was like, I just want to build that house again. I loved being in that house. And me, obviously I can't just make the same build again. So I started designing a more grown-up version, is what I'm calling it. Like, if this house was like 8-year-old duds, this is what this house would be at 18-year-old duds. And I show it in my video. I do have a video coming out tomorrow, which will have already come out by the time this airs. But I show that house in creative mode. And then I show it when I built it in survival on Channel 64. And you can see it is the same house, just upgraded, which I'm very happy with. I really like how it came out. It was super exciting to be able to envision something. And I show like, hey, when I am in creative and I am designing stuff, I'm not designing the whole thing. I'm just doing a couple walls and figuring out roof lines. And then I go.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of Minecraft videos don't walk you through that process anymore. They're just kind of like, I did a 2-minute time lapse and now we're going to go bug off for like 18 more minutes doing random stuff.
I spent 10 hours building this. Here's 20 seconds.
Right.
Let's go play minigames, or let's go and prank someone, or whatever.
Yeah. And that's totally fine if that's the way you want to do your content stuff. But I'm not that kind of person. And I really enjoy watching someone build and hear why they made certain choices. So I've been gearing my content towards that more so than the normal stuff.
Yeah.
And I did a lot of that in this episode.
Nice. Looking forward to seeing it.
Hopefully people enjoy it. You definitely hear how sick I've gotten. in that episode.
Was it recorded over quite a while then?
Yeah, it took 2 weeks to get the episode out.
Right. So it's sort of you getting better over that time as well.
Yeah, there were a couple days where I just couldn't stop coughing to save my life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it'd be every 30 seconds I would cough. So it was really hard to record on those days.
Yeah.
So I'd be like, well, I'm just going to time lapse in these days. And then I'm watching the footage back and I'm like, it's too much time lapse. We don't need all this. You get the gist in the first time lapse. I shouldn't have 3 time lapses in here. So I would just cut it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then I got really sick. Thursday of this week, I drove to work not feeling right. About 30 minutes into the work job, I got real dizzy and just like cover your ears if you're squeamish, like just vomited majorly.
Ew.
I was like, holy cow, what is it? Because I don't get sick easily other than my allergy cough.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that really happens. I was like, what is going on? And I ended up having my dad come to my work and drive me in my car home because I couldn't drive. I was so dizzy. Turns out I have really bad vertigo.
Okay. That's heights though, isn't it?
Well, no, it's just your equilibrium being off.
Okay.
The way I can equate it to people, if you're an adult, it's like being drunk and there's no sleeping it off.
Ooh.
So for like 2 days, I was very dizzy.
Yeah.
And nauseous. There's no playing video games. Can't do that. There's no watching TV. There's no scrolling on your phone. There's no reading a book. I can't do any of that. All that stuff made me nauseous.
Jeez.
So I just kind of sat there and I looked out the window listening to the radio and the TV.
Oh, I've just got this picture of you in my head in like a rocking chair just staring out the window.
You can't do rocking chair because that's dizzying.
Oh, yeah, true. Yeah.
Yeah, it was very sad. The good news is, I went to the doctor. They couldn't get me until 7 p.m. on Thursday. I go in, and they tell me I have vertigo. They give me some medicine, but she goes, try these exercises first and see how they do. And it turns out the exercises were great.
No.
I haven't had to take any medication.
That's good.
Well, when she told me, like, hey, when you take these, you're going to get really sleepy. You're going to pass out for a while. It's like, I don't want to take anything that does that.
Yeah. Anything drowsy, not good.
Yeah. But I'm over that. I'm going back to work tomorrow. Saturday, I felt like 98% fine. It's just if a light hits me in the eye while I'm turning my head and flicking my not eyebrows, but your eyelids, that kind of still gives me a little, woo, hold up. Yeah, I'm good to go.
Good to hear it.
What about you? What have you been doing? Looks like lots of stuff.
That's not even all of it. I've been continuing with my James Bond rewatch that I've been doing over the last year. I do like 3 or 4 films and then I get bored and take 6 months and then do 3 or 4 more.
Yeah.
I'm up to License to Kill, which is the last Timothy Dalton one. So I've got Pierce Brosnan and Daniel Craig to go. So I've been doing those. The reason I started this was I wanted to get better at writing. I'm not the best writer in the world. So writing film synopsises and reviews is really helping me. Also fun to watch the films back from the days where you kind of remember them, sort of, bits of them. Actually, watch them all back and see what you like and don't like about them. So that's really fun. I've got a few to go, but some of the ones that I've really liked have kind of surprised me because they were the ones that I remember being rubbish. So that's really fun. So I've actually got the poster with all of the posters on of the 25 films. So I'm going to put the rankings on there when I finish it.
Nice.
I'll leave a link in the show notes to anyone who's interested to the link to it. Minecraft-wise, I've been playing a little bit of Decked Out too. Now, we wanted to try and put it on our Patreon server, but there's a mirage of technical reasons why we can't.
Yes.
That has nothing to do with Bisect. It's to do with how the server's set up. There's no real demand from our patrons for it. So we didn't want to completely re-architect the server to be able to do it. So I've been playing it in single player with the voice mod and everything, so all the audio call-outs work and everything. That game is hard. It looks so much easier on video.
Yep.
Just sliding around that first corridor area where everything's made of ice. I have been killed so many times in that area by Ravagers.
I haven't played it.
Okay.
But as I'm on a controller, I already imagined I was at a huge disadvantage because I can't turn as quick as other people can.
Yeah, I don't use a mouse either. I use a big trackpad
Yeah, you're a weird one too.
because I don't like using mice. I prefer using my fingers on a trackpad because I'm used to MacBooks.
Mm-hmm.
So when I got a desktop, I was just like, I'll just get the big trackpad because I'm used to it. And that's what I've always used. It's good for like in games where you like have to turn quite quickly because you just scrub your finger across it rather than like trying to move the mouse. But even so, like keyboard and sort of mouse, like it's really hard. Just that opening area. I didn't really kind of realize how difficult that game actually is. So GG to the Hermits, all of them, for how well they did on there. But I played a few games and got Frost Embers and did the whole cards and things. And I played it maybe about 10 or 15 times.
Mhm.
But I think the fact that I kind of watched every single stream of them playing and every single video
Mhm.
has kind of burnt me out on it before I even played it.
Same. So I was wanting to get like a group of people together and do like a decked out 2 season.
Mm-hmm.
We're actually gonna play decked out the way it was meant to be played, like the Hermits do, separate from all the SMPs and video content thing. If you want to make content, that's fine, but that's not the main focus. But I'm like you, I've watched every stream, every video, and it's like,
Yeah.
I think I'm good.
Yeah, it's kind of sad.
Well, I think Tango ended it exactly when he should have.
Yeah, completely agree.
There's not much about Decked Out 2 that he missed on,
No.
down to like how the games play and everything like that, but including the start and finish date. Nailed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's an incredible game that he built.
Mm-hmm.
I even watched a lot of the streams through the design and the planning and the building process as well, with all like the bus lines and redstone and all that kind of stuff. I understand a lot of how the redstone works.
Mhm.
Really cool. But
I still remember the stream when he was playing with wardens to see if he could name them and they wouldn't disappear.
yeah, the Warden stream was awesome. But yeah, I kind of, like I say, I was kind of burnt out on it before I even played it. And I played through it a good 10 or 15 times and I'm kind of, I enjoyed it. I really did. But it's not something that's kind of pulling me back to wanting to play it anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in like 6 months, a year, I'll think, because I do this with games. We'll get onto this in a second, but I'm not like a massive gamer to start with.
Yeah.
So I will pick up and drop games that I love. I'll pick up and drop them randomly for like years. That's just how I am.
Yeah.
And I think Decked Out 2 might be like that. It's still on my computer. It's still in my single player save folder, sat there, ready for when I want to play it again.
Well, like even Tango's come out and said like Decked Out 3 is probably not going to happen next season.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah.
there's going to be at least a year before Decked Out 3 even gets started. So I very much think there's going to be a spot where people pick it back up
Mm-hmm.
and are playing it again.
Yeah.
I bet you there will be custom maps with data packs ready to go to streamline how everything works.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know Exuma on his, I don't know if it's a Patreon server or a public server, I'm not sure, but his server has Decked Out on it.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a modified version of it. His team put it together. I'm assuming you can play on that. I haven't looked into it, so I don't really know. But yeah, looking forward to Decked Out 3. I think he's right to not jump straight into it for his own kind of sanity and for everyone else as well. Just play Season 10 normally and come back to it. Season 12 even. Like give it a couple of seasons maybe and then come back to it because then everyone's fresh on it. Personally, that's what I'd be doing. And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Speaking of gaming, I came to this realization, which is what I just said about me being a casual gamer.
Mm-hmm.
And I pick up and drop games quite a lot, very randomly. And Minecraft was always kind of the game that booked that trend because I played it for 8 years straight, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Age of Empires I used to play back in the day and I've only picked up recently. LA Noire I picked up when it came out and kind of dropped it a few months later. Hitman I never played until like 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
I realized that these games are sitting on my computer for no reason because they're taking up all this space because these games are like 30, 50 gig and I have to play them through crossover most of the time that makes Windows games run on Mac.
Mm-hmm.
That's has to be installed. The game has to be installed. I'm taking up so much space on my computer for games that I play every now and again. So I started looking into cloud gaming.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously we had Stadia close late last year.
Yep.
GeForce Now became the sort of default option, but GeForce Now is sold out in the US, Europe, and I believe parts of Asia.
Mm-hmm.
Too much demand, not enough capacity. I went to another one, which is called Boosteroid. I don't know if any of you guys at home have heard of it.
I have never heard of that.
If you follow like the cloud gaming channels on YouTube, they talk about Boosteroid quite a lot. It came out of sort of Eastern Europe and kind of came to the West, where GeForce Now is sort of the other way around. Both GeForce Now and Boosteroid use your Steam library for the games. So you buy the games on Steam,
Mm-hmm.
and then they basically host them on their servers. So that's what I've been doing instead. And it's like £9 a month, but it's like cancel at any time. So I've paid for January, and I probably won't pay February, and I might pay for March, and then I probably won't do it till August, or because like I say, I'm the kind of person who like plays games kind of sporadically.
Yeah.
It allowed me to play games that don't work through crossover, like Hitman, for example, which I really got into.
Cool.
I'd heard of it, and it seemed like it was sort of like a first-person shooter at the time, but now I've realised that it's more sort of like espionage-based, kind of intelligence-based and stuff like Bond. So I've really been enjoying it.
Nice.
I've been wanting to play City Skylines 2. Doesn't have a Mac version, doesn't work on crossover, really having problems with performance on PC anyway.
Yup, that's all I've heard about that game.
Yeah. So I'm kind of waiting on that one to buy it because it's quite expensive and I don't want a rubbish experience. And even Boosteroid have got a big message on it that says not optimized for cloud gaming. So yeah, I'm not going to be doing that quite yet, but that is a game that I want to play.
Mm-hmm.
They've got Age of Empires on there, which was already in my Steam library, so I don't have to buy that. I've actually had a controller for a long time, a SteelSeries controller. Yeah. It works with like my Apple TV and stuff, my iPhone, and it works with Boosteroid as well. But it doesn't have as many buttons on it that you need for these kind of games. So I got a cheap second-hand Stadia controller, because obviously people are selling them off dirt cheap because Stadia doesn't exist anymore. Google released a sort of Bluetooth upgrade to them. There was like a free download that you could do to turn them into just a Bluetooth controller. And that works really, really well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever like tried any cloud gaming services at all.
I have not.
No, because I know you're looking for a new GPU, and I thought that might be something you might have looked at as an alternative until GPU prices come down.
Technically, the ones I'm looking at, I can afford now.
Right.
It just comes with my monitors or older monitors.
Mm-hmm.
I never got into I need 144 hertz and 5,000 pixels on the... I'm very much in the realm of my eyes can see 60 hertz, no problem. That's where I'm at. So my monitors are actually an older monitor. One of them still uses the white DVI component.
Yeah.
If I upgrade, I then have to upgrade my monitors.
Yeah.
Or buy an adapter for them. Either way, it requires me to take apart my computer and reassemble everything. And Carl knows every time I do that, I have to go through sound checks for about 3 days.
Oh, God.
Because there's some kind of grounding problem every single time I do that. And it's honestly, I just play Minecraft for the most part, so it's not worth it for me.
Yeah, every time he quote-unquote upgrades his computer, it affects my life.
It does. Well, I've determined the next time I do something like that, I'm going to buy a rug for my room, because right now where my chair sits, there's no rug. My chair very much just rolls out from underneath me half the time when I go to sit down. And I know that's going to break my tailbone one day.
Yeah.
I want to put some better paint on the walls and stuff. The next time I go to upgrade the computer will be a big kind of like final, I'm doing a lot of projects at once kind of thing. And I'm not going to do that till I take a week off work.
Mm-hmm.
That way I'm not trying to do this in the evenings and fight through that and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, you need to take time and like plan what you want to do with it and make sure you get all your ducks in a row and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. I'm sure there's going to be a AAA game at some point that kind of pushes me to do that.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, cloud gaming's actually like surprisingly good with like latency and video performance, and it's surprising how well it actually works. I'm happy with that for now. If you're someone who like games constantly and has the the latest titles and plays, every day and stuff, it's probably not for you. But if you're like a casual gamer that like picks up and drops games all the time,
Right.
try it out because works surprisingly well.
Should we move on to the news?
Let's do it.
First thing I have is, well, actually, really the only thing I have. No more Legends. The game has one update it's putting out, and then that's kind of it. They're not going to update it anymore. It's no DLCs, none of that.
Yeah, it's not gone very well, considering there was a lot of hype around it originally.
Yeah, I'm not going to be like really pessimistic or anything, but I could definitely tell when I saw the first trailer for this game, it was not going to be a huge hit. And I can't tell what exactly made me feel that way. All the videos I'm watching, most people say it's the repetitive gameplay that really turned them off.
Yeah.
For me personally, I thought the game looked ugly. Like that cell shading, it hurt my eyes. I did not want to play that game. I didn't want to watch anyone play that game. But everyone who does videos say it's gorgeous, it's beautiful. And I was like, huh? Like, maybe I'm in the minority.
I didn't mind how it looked, personally. It was a bit sort of in your face. I think that's just kind of the style of like those kind of games and where they've gone. But the fact it sold 3 million copies in the first 2 weeks, and then sort of by the end of like the next month, it was down to like 17 players or something like that. It was like,
after 1 month, 99% of players left to never come back.
Yeah, that's based on Steam data, so we don't know about like
this is true
Xbox Game Pass or PlayStation or whatever, but I feel like the same issues that the PC version had would also apply to those, which, like you say, is the repetitiveness of go to a village, protect them from the piglins, build up the defenses. Go to a village, protect it from the piglins. Even like the online stuff, like there was no text chat, voice chat, there was no support for local multiplayer. You pay like $30 for Minecraft and you get this kind of infinite world, this sort of ultimate replayability, and for $10 more you get a game that has at best 15 hours of gameplay. So, it's not the best. I just don't think it was the kind of game that Minecraft players wanted.
Yeah, I did see like someone say like Mojang's 0 for 3 on side projects or whatever. I still stand by Dungeons was a hit.
Oh yeah.
It's nowhere near a hit that Minecraft obviously is. The biggest game of the world is kind of hard to beat.
None of them were ever going to be though.
People are still playing Dungeons.
It sold 25 million copies.
Yeah.
Like that is amazing.
I've bought DLC for Dungeons. Like, it's a pretty fun game.
It's a shame, kind of. I just think that Microsoft decided that they were going to use the Minecraft name to try and sell other types of games.
Yeah.
And yes, they use the IP and stuff. They use the piglins and stuff like that, and they use the kind of broad style of, characters and things. But at the end of the day, they're totally different games. They just tried to use the Minecraft branding, in my opinion. Dungeons, I think, was a big success. Like it looked awesome. Even the gameplay was like really good and kind of fitted the Minecraft style a bit more than Legends did. And I think Minecraft Earth, which is the other one that quote unquote failed, came out in 2019, I want to say.
Yeah.
Obviously that got hit by the pandemic. It's a game where you go outside and you meet people and you build together using augmented reality. And then everyone was told to stay inside for 12 to 18 months.
Yeah.
And I think also at that point, AR wasn't as mainstream. I would even say today it's not very mainstream. The phones that were most able to take advantage of it was iPhones. The Android phones that were around at that time, although they could do some of this, it wasn't as well optimized as it was on iOS. And I think that kind of limited the market because Android is still a big part of the mobile ecosystem.
Yeah, take that, Apple user.
Calm yourself, boy.
Well, I have a Samsung S20, and I basically got this one because this is the one they offered for free.
Yeah.
when I upgraded, and it's definitely aged and stuff. But at the time, it was like, hey, this is a flagship phone. this is the comparable to the iPhone. And it really was. But it didn't take advantage of AR.
Mm-hmm.
So Minecraft Earth came around. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, well, this is still a pretty brand new phone. And granted, like, I think the very next model had a bunch of AR features on it. But by that time, AR had gone out of fad.
Apple were definitely the first to it, and their implementation of it was really good. Like, I played a few AR games, and they were very well, optimized, and they worked really well. But it was just a handful of iPhones at that point that had the ability to do it.
Yeah.
I just think Minecraft Earth suffered from an adoption issue with AR and obviously the social issue of the pandemic. I don't think that game was fundamentally a bad idea. It was just the timing was way off, which was unfortunate because I think on the kind of like back of the success that was Pokemon Go, I think they had a real chance to make it a big success. Like I said, those factors ended up with it being cancelled 2 years later. I'm surprised it took that long, to be honest.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it was only discontinued in 2021. Maybe they thought they could fight through the closures and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. They don't seem to be able to keep these side games going long term. It always seems to be like a 2 or 3 year cycle on them.
Yeah.
Maybe they're fine with that. It depends whether it makes money. If they put a certain amount of money into it and it makes double that in profit, then maybe they're okay with that. They know that, well, I hope that they know that they're never going to be able to make a game as successful as Minecraft ever again.
Correct.
Maybe ever's a bit too much, but like those kind of games that do those numbers and sell those amount don't come along every day. Maybe they're fine with it. We don't know because they've never said. To say Dungeons was a failure is not true. Earth had its own issues, and I think Legends is just the wrong kind of game for the audience, and I think the repetitiveness of it was a big turn-off for people.
Yeah.
Talking of Google killing things, as we were talking about with Stadia earlier, this is something I kind of miss.
Yeah.
Because this was announced late last year. It kind of didn't end up on my radar. Google Podcasts is closing in April.
Which is crazy. I use Google Podcast.
They want to migrate everyone over to YouTube Music.
Yeah, I did see my YouTube Music get updated to include podcasts now.
Mm-hmm.
I also use Podcast Addict.
Yeah.
Because a couple of the ones I listen to, it was the easiest one to set up the Withering Effect RSS feed.
Mm-hmm. We have listings on every platform that we can. You guys who use Google Podcasts, I'll leave a link in the show notes to Google's migration instructions of how to like take your library out of Google Podcasts and into at least YouTube Music. I don't know if there's other options on there. I hope that there is, like Spotify or Stitcher or whatever. Is Stitcher closed now? I don't remember.
I think so.
Yeah, they're closing left, right, and center, so it's hard to keep up with. But we've set the YouTube version of the show as a podcast, so it will show up on YouTube Music.
Mm-hmm.
You guys who want to transfer from Google Podcasts to YouTube Music, you can do that, and it will be there for you.
I will say you can sign up for YouTube Premium for like $13 and you get YouTube Music for free. Yeah, YouTube Music by itself is like $10.
Mm-hmm.
So for like an extra $3, you can sign up for Premium. I just did that in December.
Mm-hmm.
I had YouTube Music and I was paying for it, and then I realized Premium was like $2-3 more.
Yeah.
So I switched over to YouTube Premium.
But I think the podcast section of it's free anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I think you might have ads. I don't know.
No idea. I just literally found out about this an hour before we started recording.
Wow.
This was news to me. So you guys who use that, pick where you want to go next, and hopefully your library can be moved there pretty easily. I think Google Podcasts is like our third biggest.
Mm-hmm. I know there was a good bit.
Yeah, because it goes Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and then I think it's Google Podcasts, and then Audible and Amazon after that. There's options out there.
Mm-hmm. Should we move into our polls?
Let's do it.
I was super excited when I saw the results of these polls. These polls were asking what kind of Minecraft player you are. We had stuff like Adventurer, Zookeeper, Hoarder, PvPer, Redstoner, Homebuddy Base Builder, and the majority of everyone is a Homebuddy / base builder just like me.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
I was too, because everything Mojang puts out is explore, adventure, explore, adventure. They like shove that down your throat. And I'm like, but I just want to stay at home and build.
And we will say that came second in both our Spotify and YouTube
Correct.
polls. However,
It wasn't close.
it was a distant second.
Yeah. No, I think because we have an older audience, and by that I don't mean our audience is old. I mean they are not younger, they're not kids or whatever.
Yeah.
They're very mature when it comes to the games and stuff. You don't look for adventure and exploring other stuff. You like the aspect of design and building and stuff like that. I even would put Redstoner in with HomeBuddy Base Builder. Because when you're building a base, you put redstone in the base.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot more of that.
52% of our audience are between 35 and 44 on Spotify. Now, whether that's kids using the parents' accounts or whatever skewing that data, I don't know, but that's the data I've got. Kind of surprised. I thought it'd be more spread than it was. I thought there'd be more PvP minigames. Everyone likes to say that PvP is dead important and the combat changes were awful, and Redstoner being that low, 7% on Spotify, 3% on YouTube. It's kind of...
There's a lot of people who still, they don't touch Redstone.
Yeah.
Just there's a ton of people who have never been to the end. It's 50% of all Minecraft players haven't been to the end.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's an insane stat.
I can't remember who told us that.
It was a Mojang dev. I think it was Orof.
Could have been. Don't quote us on that. It's kind of crazy. Adventurer Explorer being 17% to 65% for HomeBuddy and 27% to 50% on YouTube. That's not close on either of them. Yeah, like you say, all the updates seem to be...
Yeah, they push a gameplay experience that at least the majority of our listeners don't care about.
Yeah, I don't know what data they've got. I'm assuming they have... I don't know whether there is any analytics built into Minecraft, actually.
Even if you're just watching YouTube videos, I think the data there still leans our way. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't really have, at least I haven't seen, many videos with people just exploring.
You get the initial exploration in a new world. And then you start building a base, and then you get a little bit of exploration when you have to go to an ancient city or when you're looking for the end portal and stuff like that. But this is just traveling to me.
Yeah.
There's no real adventure happening along the way. You're just traveling. I mean, in an ancient city, it's to the point now where you just look for a tall mountain.
Yeah.
And there's an ancient city underneath it.
Yeah.
90% of the time, there's an ancient city under there. It's literally made me not build in mountain biomes.
Yeah.
Way to go.
Way to go.
Should we get into listener comments? The first question comes from Jesse W. They ask, if there's a combat update, do you think the fletching table would get updated? Short answer, yes.
Hope so.
And do you think some of the mobs will act differently? Maybe zombies having a horde mindset? Zombies already have a horde mindset. If you attack a zombie, other zombies start spawning.
Yeah, or, if your base is on a mushroom island and you turn around and there's 20 zombies coming at you, that's scary. Especially at night, I know, because this happened to me. This was a few days into Ripple Season 3. It was a few days into that server, so I wasn't exactly packing, diamond swords and stuff at that point.
And also, if I'm right, zombies can see players from a further distance than other mobs.
Yeah, I believe so.
Which gives them that horde mindset already. Creepers can flank you as a small group. I think that's too OP.
Yeah.
Creepers exploding is already extremely dangerous, but having multiple creepers that can explode and destroy items really sets the player back into a position where they may not want to come replay the game, which I think Mojang would really want to avoid.
Yeah, I don't think multiple creepers is a good idea.
And finally, this was a question from Jesse W. The Dino Fanatic finally had a peaceful afternoon until he was slain by an anvil with legs.
Sassy anvil with legs.
Yeah, there's an emphasis on sassy.
Very sassy.
And your question, Carl, is by Warrior Queen Caitlin.
Yeah, the crafter gives off a very steampunk vibe. What other steampunk-like contraptions do you want to see in 1.21?
See, I think the Create mod does a very good job with steampunk. So my first initial thought is none, because I think the Create mod's a very good thing on its own, and I don't want Mojang copying it. I'd like it to be more original. I think it's because the way the door opens and spits out the item and then closes back
Yeah.
is what gives off that vibe.
Yeah. Just trying to think if there's any kind of steampunk locations they could add. You know, like you've got like the bastions and stuff like that. Like, is there anything like that they could add to the world? But would it look out of place though?
Right. Like if you add, first thing I think of when I think of steampunk is like a hot air balloon or an airship. That would look really out of place in a Minecraft world just spawning in.
Yeah, I'm just looking at some pictures of some different steampunk things, and it just feels like a totally different game if that was, and it looks so out of place. I think big kind of things wouldn't work, but I'm sure that there could be a few little things.
Yeah, like maybe a chimney block.
Yeah.
So people wouldn't have to keep using campfires surrounded by trapdoors and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that kind of thing. I guess you could kind of make the cauldron a bit more steampunky.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you could do that. I just think it's a totally different style. And I think you can add bits of it in here and there, like subtly. But I don't think anything big would work at all in Minecraft.
Shall we move on?
Yeah, I don't have anything else on there.
Before we move to Creator Clash, here's Jimbo with a reminder how you can get a discount on your own Minecraft server from Bisect Hosting.
You can get a discount on your own Minecraft server through our partnership with Bisect Hosting, offering our community 25% off any game server for their first month. This is for new clients only. Visit bisecthosting.com/TWE and use the code TWE at checkout to receive the discount.
Thanks, Jimbo. We're going to do Creator Clash a little differently. So normally this is when I would be like, hey, here's 3 data packs or 3 resource packs to have everyone vote on. This time, I would like to hear from you guys. What is something you would like us to check out? Instead of me guessing, it feels like Creator Clash isn't getting as much interaction as maybe Block of the Week did and stuff like that. So I would like to kind of turn it on its head for a vote and see what everyone else would like. So if you would like to be a part of that, post a link in the Discord or reply to our Spotify Q&A with a data pack or resource pack you want us to try out.
Definitely. We'll never be able to recreate the success of Mending Minecraft. That was
No.
That was a wonderful thing on its own, and maybe if Mojang had some more stuff, we could do some more Mending Minecraft.
Yeah.
Which would be nice, because there was good stuff there. But last month, you guys voted, and the winner was Piglins in Balloons. And I believe you did take a look at that, Duds, not on stream, but in your own time. What did you think of it?
So, yeah, I got it to work. It was an easy Optifine resource pack. It does exactly what you think it does. It puts a piglin in a hot air balloon, shoots a cannon at you. The sounds were very disconcerting. They were very scary. But the thing is, it wasn't very big. It actually felt smaller than a ghast.
Really?
Right, yeah.
The picture looked really big.
It wasn't as intimidating. Exactly, that's what I expected.
Ah, yeah. That's interesting.
Right, there's that. Theme-wise, I feel it fits better than the ghast does. Now, people will argue with me over that because the ghast is classic.
But it's only classic because it's been there for so long.
Exactly.
It doesn't mean that it's like the right thing for it to be. It's just, it feels right because that's all we've ever had.
Correct. But thematically, this does feel like it fits better. You would obviously have to rework the AI because it still moves around like a ghast.
Yeah.
Which is strange, but...
Hey, we were talking about steampunk. There's your hot air balloon.
This is true. This would fit in there.
Yeah, I haven't checked it out, but it seemed like a really cool idea. It fits in the Nether because, like, you've got piglins already, and it's not too far of a stretch to think that they could hop in a hot air balloon. You know, they're running after you. You haven't got your gold on. They see you run off in the distance, and they go, right, I'll go get my hot air balloon, and I'll follow them across the lava. That makes a lot of sense. So I think it fits really well within the kind of lore of the Nether. Obviously, they're not going to take the ghast out now.
Right.
Never going to happen.
And I wouldn't ask them to, but if they wanted to dress the ghast into this in certain biomes,
yeah,
kind of like how they do with strays and husks and stuff, I wouldn't be against it. It would work. I'd have no fault.
Maybe just in the Crimson biome they do that, or because they spawn in never wastes gas, don't they? More.
Mm-hmm.
So you could keep the gas there and then have these maybe around the bastions even.
Yeah.
You know, within like 50 blocks of the bastions, there's always a hot air balloon up there as sort of security.
Yeah.
That could work really well.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'd love to see it in the game. I think it's a great idea, and props to the developer of that resource pack. It really fits the game.
Mm-hmm.
Is it time for our main topic?
Yes, an hour into the show.
So expect it in April.
Dear, no, please no. I came up with this topic while scrolling through Twitter. So
X.
the Minecraft, X. The Minecraft page itself posted a caption that says, "What Minecraft opinion will have you like this?" And it's Steve leaning up against a wall with a bunch of swords pointed at him. So basically it's your version of a hot take.
It's time for hot takes.
I took a couple of them. I was giving credit to them. And then there were like several. What are they? They're not tweets now, are they?
The posts now.
There were several posts that were basically the exact same thing. I stopped doing credit for every single one of them. But some of them I agreed with. Some of them I didn't agree with. And I wanted to make sure to kind of get both in there. The first one was the new cave system sucks. This was for Ramp Mania. And I agree. I don't like the new cave system at all. I definitely think it sucks.
Shocking. No, I agree.
It cuts through the terrain too much. There are holes in the ground everywhere, which is super annoying. The spaghetti caves give so many areas for mobs to spawn, so it's extremely hard to get underneath there and light everything up. It's just not good. I still go down and cave like I've been caving since 1.8. So it really didn't bring anything new other than some new blocks.
Yeah. The blocks were really good, but
moss is awesome. I like how easy it is to get clay now. Glowberries is sweet. Generation sucks. I'm not sugarcoating that one. Sorry.
yeah, it's not the best. And they spent so long on it as well.
Right.
When they could have been doing other things, in my opinion. But
this next one's a tweet by Toxic Plays. Oh, sorry, post by Toxic Plays. And they say, the progression to get netherite tools and armor was good before the addition of the upgrade template. The upgrade template just adds another layer of difficulty to obtaining netherite tools and armor that is unnecessary. Agreed. I get why they added it.
Yeah.
It's a continuation thing with the smithing templates and all that stuff. But the fact that you now have to travel to a bastion. Mojang's very much in this mood lately where they're forcing you to go places to progress in the game. And to me, that's not real progression. You're hiding progression behind a travel wall. I'm not getting better at the game. I'm just traveling further.
You're turning an open world game into an objectives game.
Yes, that's exactly it.
This is kind of takes me back to Hitman. It's like you've got these objectives that you've got to hit before you can leave the mission.
Mm-hmm.
Like you've got to take this person out, you've got to collect this flash drive, you've got to make it look like an accident, or you've got to poison them or whatever, and to progress within the level. And that's what it feels like Minecraft's doing. To be able to upgrade this armor, your first objective, you've got to go to this place. Your second objective, you've got to acquire this. It's an open world game. It's not supposed to have objectives.
Mm-hmm.
It's supposed to lay everything out and go, you play this game how you wish. Where I feel like they're trying to structure a path through the game more and more with these things.
Well, I definitely feel players have lost the abilities to structure themselves, and they really need stuff spoon-fed to them to enjoy the content. And I'm not trying to be like disrespectful in that way. I'm thinking a lot of games have been made where it's a linear story progression.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone's just gotten so used to that. When they go back to a Minecraft, which again has been out for forever and is very free and open world, it takes you back a little bit. You're like, oh, hold on. What do I do here?
What do I do now? Yeah. Well, that's the kind of thing. It's like you go on YouTube and there's loads of videos that say, what do I do next in Minecraft?
Mm-hmm.
What's the top 10 things you should do when you're bored in Minecraft? All those kind of videos.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, in a way, like you say, because of the way games have been structured, a lot of them anyway, we've kind of lost the ability to think for ourselves in a way when it comes to games. I mean, I've had it where I've been playing Minecraft and I kind of log in one day onto Ripple or whatever and think, I don't actually know what to do today.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe if I had an objective, maybe that would help. I don't know. It's kind of a double-edged kind of thing. Like you kind of want a little bit of structure just to sort of give you a push in the right direction, but at the same time, it's not really what the game is about. Yeah, it's kind of strange. I get why they're doing it, but there should be multiple ways of doing things. You should be able to either put resources into something that you can do at home, or you can go out and get something which saves your resources. Maybe something like that.
Yeah. For me, as a player, my game doesn't start until most players' game have ended. By the time they beat the dragon and they get netherite and stuff, like their game's over. They're done with Minecraft at that point. For me, my game's just now beginning. Like I'm just now getting to work.
Yeah.
The fact that I'm now hiding more useful items for myself behind more work does not make me enjoy the game anymore. Does not make me like going exploring even more. It makes me regret having to go out and do this stuff.
I think we're kind of used to the way Minecraft has been, though.
Correct.
We're looking at this from the point where the game was a lot simpler. I feel like people coming to the game now or in the last 5 years would probably have a different opinion on it all.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I think we're kind of we kind of long for the days when it was simpler to do everything and there wasn't, take the villager update, for example, with the biomes being locked to books.
That is a hot take that we will have later.
I bet it is.
But here's one that works with that. A lot of people do not like the way how Elytra has changed the game. They'd prefer Elytra to be removed from the game.
Whereas someone who joined the game just as the Elytra was added, I completely disagree.
Correct. Same here. I remember what it was like moving around the world without Elytra.
Yeah.
I remember what it was like building without Elytra. Everyone had a jump pad, so when you fell off your tall structure, you would land safely.
Yeah. I remember having an Elytra and having to use the
punch bow.
The punch bow technique.
Yep. You looked like a porcupine every time.
Yep. And then when they added the firework rockets to it, I was like, yes, come on. And you could actually properly fly places. I remember having to go through deserts and forests and that to find a particular type of wood and get some saplings, or doing that in the very early days of me playing the game.
There were minecart rails everywhere.
Yep. Every plains biome just had this big minecart track all the way across it. Yeah.
My next one is from Flip. They're saying, survival Minecraft wouldn't be as popular without mending and netherite tools not breaking as fast. Agreed. This comes back to the grind. A lot of players begin their gameplay when a lot of other players are ending their gameplay, and the grind does not count as gameplay.
Yeah.
Making me work more and harder to get back to doing what I like should not equal gameplay. And making me constantly repair a tool or constantly grind for materials so I can repair a tool is not fun. Mending is an amazing enchantment and allows me to be able to play the game how I like. I said many times in my last episode, I only get an hour and a half, 2 hours, 3 if I'm pushing it after work to play, and that's not every day after work. So that's a little bit of time. And if I had to spend an entire night repairing tools, it's not worth it anymore. I wouldn't play Minecraft anymore.
And plus, mending gave a reason for the levels, because the levels aren't really that useful unless you're enchanting, mending, or renaming something. So it gave them a big purpose to get levels, which meant you would come up with redstone contraptions to take mobs, crush them, and then take them down to half a heart, and then sword them. And you get the resources from them and the XP to repair your picks and tools and everything like that. So it kind of led to more gameplay, mending being added.
All right.
Rather than just, I've now got to go and mine for diamonds again.
Well, you remember, there was only ever an Ender. There really weren't spawner grinders as often.
Yeah.
You had one early game, but the second the Ender got made, everyone used the Ender.
Yeah.
There was no need to go anywhere else. The second you got mending, the grinders became just as important as the Ender, because if you had a grinder at your base, you didn't have to travel all the way to the end to repair a tool or enchant a new one. You could spend 5 minutes at home repairing something quick. Heck, if you had villagers, you can just trade with villagers and usually repair a tool at that point.
Yeah.
But I remember many times having to go build a new pickaxe, go to the Ender, get 30 levels, enchant it, realize it's not the enchantments I want, unenchant it, or actually, we didn't have unenchanting at that time, so you had to build a new pickaxe
Yep.
and enchant it again. No, it's not fun.
No.
I think that's just a lot of nostalgia getting to people.
Definitely. In other ways, we're kind of guilty of that as well.
This is true. I'm not afraid to admit that's 100%. Next hot take. Lego Fortnite is better than Minecraft. I'm going to disagree.
I've never played Fortnite, so I have no idea.
Well, Lego Fortnite isn't really Fortnite. It's Fortnite brand, but it's Lego.
A bit like Minecraft Dungeons. It's not really the same game. It's just branded that way.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
Lego Fortnite is not as integrated with certain mechanics as Minecraft is, but Lego Fortnite puts out updates like that. They don't have to wait an entire year for an update. They don't wait weeks for an update. They notice something's wrong with the game, fix the next day. Players are asking for certain things, next day. So it's like, yeah, these changes can be made fast, and that's where Lego Fortnite demolishes Minecraft. Not even close. But Minecraft is still the better game, at least in my personal opinion.
Here's a hot take.
Okay, coming in hot.
If it would improve updates dramatically, I would be prepared to pay for them.
Yeah, I've already said that. I'd be willing to pay for DLCs if we got more content and they came out quicker. I'm not going to pay $40 for a DLC every 2 months.
No.
So there is that.
We always hear that, like, the updates are getting smaller. I don't think anyone could deny that, including Mojang. And a lot of people go, well, they are free. Okay, then, charge for them.
Yeah, I hate that argument too. Well, it's free. And it's like, well, it's always been free, so I get it. But that's not saying I'm not willing. I'm willing to pay $15 for a very good DLC. If you want to bring out a Nether overhaul DLC style for $15, I'm going to buy it.
Yeah, that's where your money is, Microsoft.
But the thing is, if you're going to charge me $15 for 121, I'm not buying it.
Yeah, definitely not.
121's not a very good update right now. I know that might get a lot of backlash or whatever, but the whole trial chambers does not interest me at all. The Deep Dark did not interest me at all.
No.
And see, those are the kinds of things that, like, well, now where are we at? Some people are buying updates and DLCs, some people aren't.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you're kind of like talking about stuff that a percentage of people haven't got access to. I kind of think that's how we are anyway, because there's a lot of servers that are still on older versions of Minecraft. There's people that still play older versions of Minecraft.
Right.
I don't actually know. I don't think Mojang has ever like disclosed this information, but I would love to know what percentage of active players are on the latest version.
Right. Channel 64 isn't.
What percentage of people are on 1.8 still?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Because I bet it's a lot higher than we'd imagine. That argument kind of works and doesn't, saying, well, if you charge for it, it's a barrier to entry. And yes, maybe it is, but what we're getting is not that great. You know, I would have stopped paying for updates at Caves and Cliffs Part 1.
Yeah.
After that, I wouldn't have paid for any of them. That's where I'd still be now. If they went, you know what, it takes money to develop these updates, and we've only got a certain budget. If we charge for them and we get, 5% of the player base to pay for it, then we'll earn this amount of money, and that allows us to put more time and effort, more wow into these updates. Because we've actually got to sell it. They're making these updates knowing that they're free. If they treated it more like they've got to sell this update to people, they've got to convince people that this is worth $15 or $10 or whatever it ends up being, then I think you would see a lot more in them than there is right now.
I think you would see a lot more feature updates instead of things update.
Yep.
Let's keep going. I've got 3 more left. This one, locking trade items on villager location is a good thing. No, it is not.
No, it's not.
That adds a lot of unnecessary grind to the game and would be a deterrent. And I think that's the whole point, is they want it to be a deterrent. They want enchanting to be the main thing, not villager trading.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just say, playing on Channel 64, there are players who are not afraid of that grind at all. Like, that grind would be over with in a day or two. No problem. Me, personally, I do not look forward to that kind of grind. In my single-player world, I still have a Fortune 2 pick. That's my biggest, best enchantment pick. Because it's not worth going for the grind.
I don't want to have to go to every biome and build a villager breeder.
Right. And then transport villagers to the villager breeder
Oh,
just to breed them.
please. Especially when some of them don't have villagers.
Right. You're going to do this? You better make swamp villages.
Mm-hmm.
Period.
Yeah, it does seem like they want it to be a deterrent.
Yes. It's a deterrent.
You want that enchantment? You got to travel all this way to get it now.
It's a deterrent. It's not a fix.
Mm-hmm. I personally don't think there's anything wrong with the villager system. Like, I think the enchantment table needs work,
Right. Yes.
but I don't actually think, since they made the changes with the POIs, I think it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't see what the issue is.
So many people are like, it's too OP. Then don't use it.
Yeah.
I remember for the longest time, people giving that complaint or whatever. They're like, don't use it then. And then now that it's come to villager trading, no one's saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone's like, no, it needs to be fixed. It's like, if you think villager trading is too easy, then don't do villager trading. Like, this comes back to the players sometimes find it hard to regulate themselves.
Yep.
It's like, I know players who don't ever get out of iron armor just because it makes it harder for themselves, which makes the game more enjoyable for themselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yeah, it's not the best stuff, but that's how they like to play the game.
I think a lot of players see the higher tier stuff as a target
Mm-hmm.
rather than a choice.
Right, exactly.
That's the wrong mindset to have. It's like when everyone on your server has Netherite armor and you're the guy in diamond. I wear diamond, I don't wear Netherite because I don't see the value in it.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, you poor, you've got diamond. It's like, 3 years ago, this was the top tier, mate. It's like...
All of last season on Channel 64, I used an iron sword. I died so many times because I used an iron stupid sword and I needed to get in an extra hit and I didn't.
But it makes combat fun.
Well, not for me,
Not for you.
but it was very much a different thing.
Makes combat different.
Exactly.
You know, if you have a sword that's all singing, all dancing, and you can take out any mob with one swipe, you're just taking the fun away from the game for yourself.
Right.
I hate to take it back to Hitman once again, but I've been watching a lot of videos on Hitman recently, and the kind of correlations between what we're talking about here and that kind of work. Yeah, I could just snipe them right now, but then I'd miss out on all the story behind it. I'd miss out on finding a staircase where they're coming down and I can drop a chandelier on them, or I can put poison in their drink and make them go to a toilet and then drown them. Like, every single mission, you could just snipe someone and walk out.
Mm-hmm.
That's the easy way to do stuff. Where what we're talking about here is making the game more fun for yourself by not taking the easy option.
Right.
And those games kind of correlate together in that kind of respect.
Well, and this goes back to what we said earlier, that there should also be the easier option, like getting that netherite smithing template.
Mm-hmm.
I shouldn't be forced to go somewhere, just like players shouldn't be forced to play a certain way. Like, the choices are there. You can either do villagers OP-wise or make it a little bit harder yourself and only use the enchantment table. I've done that. I think this season on Channel 64, we're all enchanting table till about a month ago. I finally started adding books to things like just to get like mending and stuff.
Mm-hmm. You kind of see it where you walk into people's bases and they have the same thing.
Yes.
The same farms, the same villager trading halls, the same everything.
Mm-hmm.
I was noticing this when I was doing the gallery for Ripple Season 4.
Mm-hmm.
And you go into certain members' bases and, like I say, the same villager trading halls, the same farms, the same this, the same that.
And I will say, if that's the way a person wants to play, they should be allowed to play that way.
100%. But I feel like the game is designed to push you in a certain direction these days.
Mm-hmm.
There should be options. Everything should have 2 ways of doing it.
Right.
An easy way, where you pay a little more for it.
Or game knowledge helps you get to the easy way.
Yeah. If I could stop using lapis in the enchanting table by going and finding a lapis shard in this faraway place, I'd probably do it. Because I don't collect a lot of lapis. Like, I've never had big stockpiles of lapis. So when I'm trying to use the enchantment table, it's like, gotta spend lapis again. But that's what I'm saying. 2 different ways of doing it. The easy way is shove in some lapis and it'll eat through it. Or you go on this mission to get a special key to not have to use lapis anymore. 2 different ways of doing it. That's what everything should have. Because it's an open world game. I get there has to be a progression kind of tier system. But the way you go about implementing that, you can either do it in a way that they seem to be going down, which is this is the path through the game, or you give people options to kind of split out in different directions. And then from those, they split out in other directions. And everything's got a choice to it. Rather than feeling forced to do something, you have the choice of A or B. Which one do I want to do based on where I am within the game, what level I'm at, how much time I've got to invest in it, and all those kind of things.
Next one. Mojang should stop with spin-offs. I kind of agree with this, and I kind of don't. It's not Mojang that's doing the spin-offs. It's usually another company, and Mojang just assists with the spin-offs in, like, when it comes to design aspects and things like that. Like, we know the piglins were introduced from a game. That wasn't a Mojang thing. They introduced them together.
Yep.
So, like, stuff like that's very cool, and I do not want that to stop. The only reason I would want the spin-offs to stop is if Mojang's doing more than just helping with a design aspect. If they're pulling resources to help with spin-offs, and that's the reason we're getting such lackluster updates, then yes, please stop the spin-offs.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what's going on.
Doesn't seem to be. Legends was made by Blackbird Interactive.
Right.
Alongside Mojang.
I don't want Mojang to stop swinging, because we got Dungeons, which was a hit.
Yeah.
I love Dungeons. So there might be another game right around the corner that's another hit. So they should definitely keep swinging. Unless it's taking more resources than we think away from the Minecraft game. Then yes, please, for dear Lord, stop. But I don't think it is. So keep swinging.
Yeah. Last one.
The final one is vanilla cannot be modded under any circumstance. True.
I've never played any modded Minecraft, so.
I haven't either, but I've watched a good bit of modded. In itself, modded is just an add-on to the vanilla game. So therefore, it will always have more and allow you to do more than the vanilla game. So therefore, it can't beat modded. That being said, if you really want to get down to it, it's a personal opinion. I prefer vanilla over modded. That being said, I've been really wanting to play Create Mod. I have the Create Mod set up on my system. I just have to get around to like, hey, do I want to make a video out of this or do I just want to play?
I like that modded is an option.
Yes.
I like games that support modded. Prison Architect has a great modding system. They can add things in that a little developer like Introversion Software can't. Like there was one where they turned the delivery trucks into helipads and they had like military helicopters landing with supplies and stuff. That's the fun things you kind of get with modded. There was another one where someone had made an entire basketball game with counters and everything and proper ball physics and put that in Prison Architect. Modding's really cool. I'm glad it's supported, at least in Java. But yeah, the vanilla game is your king.
Yeah.
And modded is the sprinkles on top of the cake. For people who want to go in a different direction, either because they're bored and they want something different, or you know they see something that they really want to play with someone else, and that's the way to do it. I think modding's great. Totally support it in as many games as possible. But yeah, vanilla's king.
All right, but I think that's going to do it for today's show. Before I have Carl read us out, I want to say a huge thank you to all of our patrons who are supporting the show. Our milk level patrons are Aerington, aubni, FragileRock, Jronman, Loki, and the Meme Bug. If you too would like to get access to extra content and exclusive benefits, including our brand new Minecraft server powered by Bisect Hosting, please consider joining at patreon.com/The Withering Effect.
If you like this show, you can share it with your friends on social media. If you listen on Spotify, rate and follow us so you never miss a future episode. Or if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us a nice review. Doing any of these helps the show reach more listeners. If you'd like to get in contact with us, send an email to podcast@thewitheringeffect.com. X us, leave a voice message, or join our Discord where you can get a chat with anyone who works on the show and fellow listeners. All the links are in the show notes.
This show has been brought to you by our digital producer Carl and myself. The amazing music you hear throughout the show is created by the one and only Decoy. Everyone's social media info can be found in the show notes. You guys have been awesome. Thank you so much for getting Withers with us. You should probably go drink your milk now. Bye.
See you guys.